You are watching the Vanquish Gaming League. We're here with more Week 5 action. We've got a matchup between Kid and TheBusiness versus Mord and Satchmo. Now, Mord and Satchmo, of course, off to a pretty good start. They've only lost one game all season against, of course, the undefeated dude from Brazil and Cello, and that was a very close game. Other than that, though, they have had a pretty solid game, dispatching all opponents that come. However, now they are faced with TheBusiness and Kid, a very strong team, originally favored to go all the way to the finals. But now they're running into a little bit of trouble. They've had some unfortunate losses that they did not expect, and they've dropped a game here or there, and they find themselves kind of struggling now. You see a little banter going forth between Mord and Kid. Kid, of course, a big fan of Nexus First against Zerg. If he sees the Zerg trying to expand too soon, or you know, basically trying to and you see a little joke there from Satchmo, as if there's any doubt where they would be on Discord 4. So as the banter continues, you see there a little shout out there to Poyo, another Vanquish Gaming combatant here in the season, also off to a very good season. And as we see the banter continue, go ahead and take a look at the income tab. See, it's pretty solid across the board. Little bit of Overlord movement here, not too much to report. We do see Kid go ahead and trying to wall off the front here. Take a look at the production tab. See two spawning pools going down, almost mirror builds of each other with Satchmo and Mord, as well as two extractors. I'll have to see what they end up doing with that. Could very well be speedlings. Mord, of course, a big fan of roaches. Have to see if he's able to pull off a roach build here. The big question is going to be to see if they go for a macro build. Kid and Business. Kid, notorious for his macro builds, will take any opportunity he can to macro. See Mord keeping a close eye on this wall. Wants to see if he sees a forge come down first, or if he's going to see more units being built. Of course, we see the cybernetics core coming down instead. So definitely no early forges from Kid. We also see a cybernetics core coming down here from TheBusiness. So at this point, Mord and Satchmo need to make a decision if they're going to try and early rush the double Protoss, or if they're going to go ahead and let this be a macro game, in which case they may be at a disadvantage on Discord, considering that the expansions are not easily defensible, and of course the choke points are you know, very easily you know, kind of like blocked off here. You know, there's two of them. This center area can get very congested very fast, especially with Xel'Naga's giving detection. Do see speed coming down for, well, looks like speed only for Satchmo. That most likely means, yes, there it is, the Roach Horn for Mord. So Mord will get to build his roaches, which he's very fond of. See Satchmo doubling up on these Xel'Nagas, which he will definitely need, considering that the cheapest unit sent over there is going to be a Zealot. You see two Zealots on hold, one from TheBusiness, one from Kid, most likely discussing strategy. And we just see more gateways coming down. Take a look at the production tab. We see gateways all around with warp gates underway, as well as an early robotics facility from TheBusiness, most likely for detection, as they will want to get eyes on their Zerg opponents as quickly as possible. Kid, also notorious for leaving a probe behind to kind of keep an eye on things, and even build some proxy pylons when necessary. Of course, Satchmo at this point may see this, and it looks like he will just barely miss this probe here. Kid very cleverly placing it in a very good location. You see a lot of lings coming out now. Take a look at the count. Satchmo with 20 lings. Only 6 roaches so far for Mord. And we do see Kid taking out some of Satchmo's eyes here. And we do see a hit coming on cleverly. Business and Kid, of course, doing what any good Protoss player would do, keeping those units on hold. So Satchmo is going to go ahead and give him something to come off of hold 4. He's going to try to take out that gateway. Unfortunately, that's not going to work as those stalkers come rolling out. Do see some roaches rolling in, though. 2 expansions going down, one for Mord and one for Satchmo. So they're definitely going to try to expand and push at the same time. TheBusiness, of course, looking to expand, gets taken out by some Zerglings. And these roaches are going to make on hold a little bit difficult here. You have some sentries in place as well. You see some barriers coming down, and or some force fields. I always get those confused. And we do see them kind of trying to whittle down this gateway. Unfortunately, Protoss building so ridiculous in the hit point category. going to make it very, very difficult to take down that building. Protoss, of course, almost by law, not allowed to have any real disadvantages as far as hit points and strength is concerned. You see 4 Zerglings running back to Mama, where the rest of the Zerglings are kind of roaming around the map. We do see these roaches also heading back to the base, and Satchmo keeping an eye on any possible expansions. We do see the business pumping out some sentries, very, very useful, and going for that expansion finally. You cannot show fear against Zerg players. You must expand and not let them bully you. And you can't, especially a handful of the little Zerglings like this, you cannot let them bully you, business. You must build this expansion here. You've been holding on to those minerals that you've saved up for so long, and as soon as you have 400 minerals, I expect to see you double. Oh, never mind. I think these Zerglings are going to go ahead and kill you, and unfortunately, you will go down 5 minerals lighter. And we do see Mord now building some evolution chambers, and we do see lots and lots of spying going on from business. Excellent move on his part, building this this overseer, and we see him just kind of getting some great eyes on everything here. And we do see lots of Evo chambers down, and this one soul roach warren. Let's go ahead and take a look at the economy tab here, and you'll start to see how even though we've got extra bases for both Zerg players, they're still maintaining a pretty hefty, you know, harvester count against these Protoss. So there's not really a macro advantage just yet. Of course, Satchmo not really saturating this. He just has kind of like this vanity hatchery here, almost to say like, yeah, I built a hatchery too, Mord, leave me alone. So he has not started to use that yet. We do see the Zerglings starting to pile up. Take a look at the unit tab here. We're up to 33 Zerglings, but unfortunately some of them are being killed by this roving ball here. Do have these immortals, which are going to make the roaches very unhappy. They are basically the raid can of the Protoss army. They will dispatch all those roaches very quickly, and these stalkers, of course, having no problem bullying these Zerglings, and that will give map control to Kid and the business. And we do see on the production tab, we do see some zealot speed coming down from Kid. That will be very, very useful, especially against the roaches, as well as some upgrades as well. And we do see the business pumping out two more extractors, and we do see Burrow as well underway. And this is going to be a very interesting battle here to see if they can kind of maintain control on this. They do have a spine crawler problem and a second one underway, a third one in the back. We do see Zergling kind of rolling in here. Unfortunately, those zealots can't really get in there. We're also not seeing those sentries being put to use, trying to split out those roaches. Unfortunately, business just mismicroing those sentries there. And that has kind of been the theme of week 5. We've just had a lot of mismicros. People are just not taking advantage of unit capabilities, just relying on A move a little bit too much here. And we do see Kid using this proxy pylon to warp in some additional stalkers to kind of save that attack. Unfortunately, all these, well, not really the drones, but the Zerglings are definitely going to cause some problems here. And finally, the sentries being put to use, unfortunately not going to be enough, as those Zerglings were able to get enough room in there. Those drones, of course, helping out as everything and the kitchen sink is coming in here. 3 more zealots join the party a little too late, and that's going to go ahead and dispatch. However, in the chaos, Kid has expanded to this gold here, as well as dropped down a few more pylons, and we see the business also beginning to saturate that expansion there, and some upgrades as well coming down. Let's go ahead and take a look at the unit tab. You'll see it swaying drastically in favor of Satchmo, just going crazy with the Zerglings. There's Zerglings everywhere at this point. It's like a Zerglings Gone Wild video. They are just everywhere. He definitely has this Zelnaga underway. We'll take a look at his vision, just barely evading, just not able to see this base over here. Of course, these 2 sentries are going to find, they're going to go ahead and discover these Zerglings here. He'll need to try and pull in some, needs to pull out these stalkers. There's just no match for the Zerglings here. Finally, some zealots come in to join the party. We're going to shred these Zerglings and retake map control. We have some more stalkers underway as well as 2 cannons. That will definitely be useful. See more Zerglings. So these Zerglings are going to be a huge problem for these stalkers and for the immortals. We don't really see a lot of roaches. Still down to only 4 roaches. Take a look at production. We see a Spire and Infestation Pit coming down for Satchmo, as well as an Infestor Pit for Mord. So it's going to be very interesting to see as we basically are going to have some air units coming out now, which will be great for harassment. We also see a lot more roaches have popped, and you know, the army is starting to look very respectable on the Zerg side. We'll have to see, though, how they're going to approach. They are still unaware of this gold here, which is giving Kid a huge advantage here, allowing him to actually out-macro Mord for a little bit with less workers. So definitely big advantage swaying here. I'd like to also see them kind of take this expansion, as there's really no pressure here. I mean, Mord does have some eyes on it, but not really enough. And Business looks like he's thinking about doing it. However, the unit count is very, very low. We do not see a lot of units here. A lot of macro, not a lot of units. And, you know, we take a look at their views, and they do not have that Overseer here anymore. I'm sorry, that Observer. So without that Observer able to kind of spy on things, they are completely unaware that really they've built an enormous army of over 50 Lings. We have 2 Mutas, probably some more on the way though, and 10 Roaches. Take a look at production. We see 4 more Mutas on the way, and Infestors, and wow, a ton, 11 Roaches underway. This is not looking good at all. Unfortunately, Kid and Business have been neglecting a little bit of their scouting here, and without any eyes to keep an eye on this army, they are just completely in the dark as to the size and scope of this enemy army. And we do see an Immortal now, I'm sorry, an Archon now on the way, and some more Zealots joining the fray here. We do see Mutas, only 6 Mutas, but you know what, that's enough to take out an undefended base. You know, 6 Mutas, you get some +1 on that, and you'll be able to easily whittle through. We do see another expansion coming down from Mord. Mord definitely getting his macro game on. We see some cannons coming down for the Business, lots and lots of cannon. Unfortunately, not going to be soon enough. And the Business is in a lot of troubles. He's going to lose a lot of these workers. He needs to get those Stalkers in. Meanwhile, we do see some Stalkers and Zealots rolling in here to try and take advantage of Satchmo's attack. And they're going to go ahead and take out this expansion. Meanwhile, these Mutas are just going to hop base to base here and make these Stalkers. They're basically having a micro battle. And we do see Mord also rolling in with these Roaches. He should have enough, including that Infestor, to take out the rest of this army. So he will. It looks like a race for that hatchery, and it looks like Kid and the Business will take out that hatchery just in time. However, unfortunately, these Mutas are just being a real pain in the ass. Have completely taken out Kid's mineral line here. Thankfully, he does have this gold that they still do not know about, and they did some good scouting on as a secondary objective here, spying this robotics bay. So they know Colossi are on the way. Kid, of course, his saving grace, that gold base, which is still undetected. This was a pretty good Muta attack for Satchmo. It did cost him an expansion, but at least Mord was able to finish off that army. And we see this army just kind of going back here to this natural. And I'd like to see it move up and take this Zelnaga and try to hold some aggression here. Maybe even push in on this gold, just try to take a look at it and see if it's even, you know, being used. The Business, of course, being spotted. Looks like, will Satchmo try to take? We will try to snipe that Colossi, but unfortunately that Colossus moves out of the way just in time and regains hold on that. We do see a large army rolling in here from Mord and Satch. We see lots and lots of Zerglings. They're going to try to take advantage of this weakened state here of the Protoss. Just try to like roll in here. Of course, too much focus on macro for Kid and Business, and unfortunately they will lose the only Colossi that they have. And these Roaches, of course, are going to roll in here, take advantage. Excellent fungals from Mord. Going to hold those Zealots in place, whittle them down just long enough. And this is not looking good at all. Only a handful of Stalkers lie between Mord and the Promised Land. We do have an extra Colossus coming out here, but without some good micro from the Business, that Colossus is going to go down. It looks like, will he get it just in time? Oh, he just barely misses it. A wasted fungal, unfortunately, on that Colossus. Barely escaping with a single hit point. A single hit point on that Colossus. Unbelievable. We do see some Zealots warping in here now, trying to take out these Roaches. Unfortunately, not a good choice. Infestors burrowing. We do see these Colossus. That's the second time it drops down to 1 hit point. It's just barely staying alive there. Kid, of course, warping in a ton of Stalkers to finally back this up. And they will send home these Roaches. And it is not looking good now, as that entire Zerg army, which came so close to taking out this gold, didn't even get a dent in it. This Colossus, of course, a Houdini of units, able to stay alive, amazingly, twice being dropped to 1 hit point, staying alive. Some excellent micro there. Satch, of course, has rebuilt this expansion. Even though Business has eyes on it, they really have barely enough units to hold on to this gold. And with the Zerg now regaining some map control here, it's it's going to be very, very difficult for them to try and prevent anything. See Mord not saturating this expansion just yet. It is very close to enemy territory. Business, of course, with a proxy. You see these infestors putting some of these infested Terrans to good use. Some excellent choices there from Mord as he's taking this out. And wow, unbelievable. 4 infested Terrans taking out the entire worker load of Kid here. He has just completely lost it. And he did not notice this at all. He's completely ignoring it. Unbelievable. He just allowed this very easily defeated group of infested Terrans to take out his entire gold workforce there. Unbelievable mistake there. I'm telling you, week 5 is just like the week of mistakes and just silly errors here. Unbelievable how those 4 infested Terrans were able to take out an entire gold expansion. See Satchmo taking an additional base. Business also going for a 3rd base. And we see Kid now going down for a 3rd base as well. Just incredible. I still cannot get over how this goal, I mean, granted, it's almost mined out, but still, you lost all those workers. Could have easily transitioned them over to this new base. There's a big mistake there. Do you see these mutas kind of rolling in here, going for the business? Meanwhile, we do see a huge ball of units here backing off, though, and not going for Satchmo's expansion. Interesting choice there. I don't think they would be called back just for 5 Mutalisks. Surely they could warp in some additional units for that. Do see the business trying to save these units here. And Satchmo at least causing a cancellation here. Do also have these 2 infestors still kind of roaming around here. And we do see a change in direction for the Kid and the business's army here as they're rolling in now on these expansions. They cause Satchmo to cancel his expansion. Mord, of course, just barely starting to saturate. Just when you think it's safe, you know, you have these pesky Protoss rolling in here, taking all this out. You see a massive army of roaches and infestors with a handful of lings rolling in. They're going to take advantage of that army being distracted there. Mord knows that that base is pretty much all but lost. They're going to go ahead and take out this gold, even though it's almost completely mined out. They want to just get rid of this foothold here. The business, of course, just kind of trying to decide what he's going to do with all these workers. This enormous roach army here with some drones mixed in. Very interesting choice there with these drones. This should be enough to kind of push through these stalkers. You know, these 2 infestors, of course, definitely coming in handy. And we'll have to see them push through, finally taking out that Colossus. And this will be enough to dispatch this Protoss army. You know, definitely a good choice there. Satch, you know, for whatever reason, has these workers in the mix here. I'm going to go ahead and guess that's another Miss Micro, unless they're just really motivational. I have seen them use workers before for motivation like that, just kind of include them in the army. You know, I'm just going to assume that it's, you know, it's one of those little micro caveats there. Just, you know, being hit. You do see some units, you know, hitting Satchmo's expansion here, trying to do some late damage, taking out some of those workers. Of course, the business still keeping eyes on this, and you know, that will hurt Satchmo a little bit, but unfortunately, it's just not going to be enough. As you know, business is just desperately hurting here for minerals. We see Satchmo dropping down to 10 minerals. Definitely, I'm sorry, 10 workers. Definitely hurting Satchmo big time on the economy, but just not slowing down the Zerg army at all. We see Mord in full effect here, running off 2 bases. The macro starting to get a little bit away from them if they do not take out these bases. They do have the business kind of struggling for some minerals, but that is going to come to an end very quickly as this extra base is coming down. I do see lots and lots of units, though. We take a look at the unit tab. You see we have 8 Mutalisks on the board, 35 Roaches, though. Unbelievable. To really only stand up against 4 High Templars, most likely going into Archon mode, there we go, and a single Colossi and 12 Stalkers. So the army advantage definitely in favor of Mord and Satchmo here, but they really need to act on it. We see Mord also rebuilding this base. Business, of course, keeping an eye on it. You know, but with the loss of this gold, do you see, oh, it looks like Satchmo may be able to get an easy picking here on this Colossi, but it looks like they are not paying attention. And these Colossi will just kind of go completely unfettered. We see business, interestingly enough, not going for the expansion, but going to block the expansion, try to prevent them from getting this gold. I do see, of course, these mutas coming in to go ahead and stop that. 2 Stalkers found themselves on the wrong neighborhood, and they will go ahead and get easily sent home in a body bag. 2 more souls for ire. And we do see 2 Colossi just running for their lives. Unbelievable. I mean, they're just, you see them just plodding along here, desperately trying to escape Unfortunately, this is why you do not leave expensive merchandise lying around. Okay, that is just bad for business. There we go. Told you I'd use that pun again. And we see these Archons and a handful of lots, but this is just not going to be enough. We see more Stalkers warping in here, as well as a bunch of business Stalkers. The army is just too distributed, though. They really need to try to keep the army together at the point that's most vulnerable, which right now are these expansions. It's a natural target for Mord and Satchmo, since that is really just fueling the economy here of business and Kid. And unfortunately, they're going to easily take that down. And this is going to be basically a huge turning point. And the Zerg are going to basically cripple this Protoss army, as they only have one mineable base at this point. This expansion also going to go down. This is not looking good at all. Roaches, of course, you know, not the greatest thing to use against Stalkers, but when you have them in such a large army like this, and with +3s going down, it's going to be very difficult. Amazingly, though, no speed upgrade on the Roaches. What's up with that, Mord? The speed upgrade would definitely come in handy, especially chasing these Colossi. But, you know, yeah, no speed upgrade, interestingly enough. I'm going to go ahead and guess that was forgotten as well and chalk that up to week 5 mistakes. But either way, there's the GG from Kid. Economically crippled, Mord and Satchmo will take this victory. Business also throwing down the GG, and that will end this game. Of course, a very, very interesting turn of events there. You know, some good back and forth, some mistakes on both sides of the fence, but in the end, the Zergs were able to pull it off with some just some classic Mord Roach brute force. We'll have to see if Kid and Business can change this up in game 2, but you know, Kid and Business definitely in need of a win here. Mord and Satchmo trying to stay, you know, basically in a solid second place. So we'll have to see what plays out in game 2.